"We are set to walk the path of the righteous," is what Gotthard's teachers always told him. "It is by our God's commandments that we shall follow the path He in His wisdom has plotted for us. We must only follow His guidance. To do otherwise would be foolish," is what they said. Gotthard agreed with fervor. It is what he was raised to do. And why wouldn't he? What did he know of the world to disagree with the ones that taught him, let alone to disagree with God? And this path he walked to the best of his abilities. The scripture commanded love and mercy, to offer goods to those who had none, and to offer help to those who couldn't help themselves. There is sense in that, he always thought to himself. He toiled from dawn to dusk, to give unto the order what it needed to survive and thrive, to keep his brothers fed, and to help his superiors focus on the training of even more acolytes. What he had to spare, he gave to his community, for his teachers reminded him of the roof and food he already had. What was it more that he thought he needed? There is sense in that, he always thought to himself. He also trained, day in and day out on the Order's grounds, shaping his body to bring glory to his creation. He sparred with his brothers, barehanded and exposed, but also in the art of war and weaponry, so that he may better protect the less fortunate who could not protect themselves. There is sense in that, he always thought to himself, strongly embedded into his beliefs, with the spark of true devotion in his eyes. The city was taken. Gotthard stood in the middle of the lower town square and looked around. 3 years ago, the chaplain started preaching about war. They told Gotthard and his brothers that the neighboring king brought his nation to mock their god, that followers of their belief were openly hunted down, and that he now made moves against the order itself, seeking to extinguish them all. Gotthard couldn't believe it. Why would they want that? He cried out back then. Of course, his superiors had the answer. The nation was infected with demons. Their capital, the heart of this new earthly evil. If they wanted God's plan to prevail and humanity to find their true purpose again, they were to take up arms and expel this malevolence. And so they did. Swords replaced plowshares, and the righteous rode out. And Gotthard witnessed, for the first time, as it would seem, their holy word in full effect. There can be no mercy for those who stand against us, for God looked into their hearts and found them evil. This is what his brothers told him as they burned down the villages. There shall be no place for the wicked to hide, as we are God's chosen people, and he tasked us to reign this earth in his name. This is what his brothers yelled as they tore down the walls of the cities in their path. No mercy was given, as God judged them unworthy. No love was given, as these humans strayed from the path and believed to be better than God. He saw his beloved brothers carry out the most vile atrocities, all In the name of Scripture. There was nothing he could do, as they would always quote the holy verses to back them up, their eyes burning with the fire they let loose on this foreign people. Is there sense in that? He thought to himself. Gotthard did as they did, but when the soldiery fled and innocence fell on his sword, he met their gaze, and his righteousness cracked. Were these demons he slew? What did they see when they looked at him and his order? There can't be sense in that, he thought to himself. Gotthard looked around him. All he saw was chaos and ravage. This was what they had come to expunge, but it was precisely this what they sowed. He looked down at his hands, his silvery gauntlets rusted under the blood he had spilled. No matter how hard he had scrubbed, he could never get rid of it all, and there was always more that his sword had drained. Always more lives that he had taken. There is no sense in that, he whispered to himself. He looked up, a lone believer in a burning city, and over the screaming of his bloodthirsty cardinals and the wailing of grief and despair, he questioned in horror where the righteous path had led him.